like it too, doggy style pit bull, I give a great name. How about that? If I tell you that I love you, would you say that back? You say you had your heart broke, so don't play like that. But I be on my Andre, I keep shit 3 stacks. I be catching baby fever when you make it clap. He gon' catch an attitude if he hear I smack. And if he tryna run a fade, then I'm with all that. Just know she with the big dogs, she ain't coming back. So please don't be weird. Please don't be weird. Please don't be weird. Please don't be weird. Shawty good here. Say she good over here. Please don't be weird. Please don't be weird. And that pussy top tier. Please don't be weird.
Yeah.
And I'm all up in her ear. Please don't be weird.
Yeah, what's up, YOTTATALK? What's good with y'all? We back with another episode. My boy Kavin Donnell is back in the building. I said back in the building just because I'm with bro all the time.
How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling?
I'm chilling. But look, there's so many accomplishments, so many accolades. This man opened the door for me to even be able to be out in LA.
Yes,
before I was doing the podcast or anything like that. I have so much respect for the man.
Yeah.
And before I even introduce him, I'm gonna let y'all learn from him.
Right.
Everything that he got going on. So first off, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. How you?
I'm good. But okay, I know that you from the LA area, right?
For sure.
You were able to get me connected.
Right.
But for the people, where exactly were you from when it comes to LA?
Originally Inglewood, California.
Inglewood, California.
Yeah, Inglewood, California. Yeah.
And coming up in Inglewood, what was that like? You had a 2-parent home, single parent?
Yeah, so I grew up in a dual parent household. Fortunately, you know what I'm saying, my parents now, they split up now, but you know, growing up in a younger age, I was a dual parent household.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was cool. You know what I'm saying? My aunts and uncles lived in Inglewood, my grandmother lived in Inglewood. That's actually like who we was staying with, you know what I'm saying, for a long period of time. So
with your grandmother?
Yeah. So we was staying there while they was trying to figure out their house situation and stuff like that. So stay with her, and then after that we finally like moved a little bit more west, you know what I'm saying, towards like Slauson area and stuff like that. But yeah, originally Inglewood, California, yeah.
And then coming up, who around you like introduced you to music? Like, was it your mom while she cleaning up in the kitchen, your grandma while she cooking?
Funny,
like,
I feel like for me personally, like I don't know exactly if it was a specific person that actually like introduced music to me. I just feel like I was always just a fan of music. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my pops, you know, he would sing. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the church, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we was, you know, choir, stuff like that was always big. But I mean, mom's is cleaning, so it's always music playing. I mean, pops had me on all the OG groups, you know, the Temptations, the OJs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? That was the era. I mean, I still
brought it back.
Yeah,
he brought it back.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I still got like the whole 90s R&B vibe and stuff like that from my mom and shit like that. But my pops, like I said, Temptations, it's the OJs, you know what I'm saying? It's
back to the basics.
Yeah, David Ruffin and Stevie Wonder. Of course, you got Michael Jackson in there. It's like it's so many different people.
You was a kid in the living room talking about be there. You was doing the moonwalk.
All of that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I mean, I feel like for me, it was just being around it. And I feel like at a certain point in time, like I was just really into that. You know what I'm saying? I was really into music. You know what I'm saying? And like for me, it just kind of happened. Not knowing if I was really talented or not, and it was just more like mimicking what you saw. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So what age were you when you were like, all right, let me go ahead and pick up the microphone and let me get on this computer and figure out how to record myself?
I feel like for me personally, I realized early on, I was young, bro. I was maybe 5, 6, I don't know. I just know that for me, a big inspiration outside of, you know, the people that I just mentioned, for me personally, was seeing Bow Wow do his thing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like me, being a young dude, like Bow Wow was like who you wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? You see a little dude, got hair braid, got all the girls with him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, being from LA, you know, Snoop's from LA, and you know, Snoop was always around Bow Wow. And you know, as a kid, when you're young, you think about the fact that, hey, yo, this dude seemed like he my age, and he hanging out with such and such. You know what I'm saying? But being young, my parents, stuff like that, they wasn't letting us listen to Snoop. You knew who Snoop was. You knew his voice. You can't miss his voice. But it was like, I was
not playing doggy style in the house.
Yeah, we got to, hey, turn that down. The kids around. But you see the videos, and you see Bow Wow with Snoop, so you naturally like, yo, he cool enough to be with the grown-ups. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
what he got, exactly, what he got going on and stuff like that. So I feel like for me, like, that was a big inspiration. And at first, before it was really like R&B and singing, it was like rapping, because Bow Wow was rapping. So I mean, I remember going as far as like
let me grow my hair out. I want to get my hair braided. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like all that. I was trying to do
You had the cornrows?
Yeah, the whole nine.
Cab with the cornrows. Sixth grade cab with the cornrows.
Even younger than that, bro. I'm talking about
you was 7.
7, 8, young. You know what I'm saying? Young out here like I
He was like, I'm ready. I know I'm getting picked up.
And didn't even have the hair to like really have it hang. Had no hang time. My joint was right there at the neckline, bro. I swear to God, it's right there at the neckline. It's crazy. But I was like, yo, if it's long enough to get the braids, you know, from the front profile, we look good. Don't look at the back though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when you actually started to like write and record your own music,
right.
What was the process like? Because I know a lot of guys right now, you know, with YouTube being available and all the stuff like that, they're recording themselves. They're learning real quick. They can get equipment for $100.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So how was that process for you?
I mean, bro, you know what's funny? For me, I've probably touched every aspect of recording, from not knowing anything and not having many resources to then getting into some of the biggest studios. You know what I'm saying? I think that for me, like, to be honest with you, I just want to hear myself. So I came up at a time where, like, bro, we still had, like, cassettes were still there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I remember having a boombox type of thing, and it had the CD players. It had a CD player in it, and it had a cassette, but you was able to connect a mic to it. So if you hit record on a blank CD, I'll go to 99-cent store with my mom's. It had like a 5-pack. I swear, we 5-pack of the cassette tapes. You take the cassette tape, and then what I would do is basically take the cassette, and you're gonna record it. You know what I'm saying? So you record your your music on that. So I recorded music, and then after that, I would go back because you could rewind it.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna re-record again with them both going at the same time. So now I got my voice and my music, but it's a crazy setup because it's like you just got a bunch of stuff going on. So you holding the mic, but you got the music playing right here. You're trying to make it all happen at one time, and it's like. It's one take, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't go back.
Punch in. Ain't no
everything it's one take. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no such thing as no ad libs. You know what I'm saying? No background vocals. It is one take. But I'm young then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, as time went on, I finally got into like actually using musical softwares. I think the first one that I ever touched was something called Mixcraft.
Okay. Yeah, I know a lot of people that started on that.
Mixcraft was like the first thing that I ever touched. And at the time, I mean, I remember I'm getting the free version and stuff like that. I think they gave it to you for like, man, honestly, I think at that time, you know, nowadays people give you trial for like a week, 2 weeks. I think at that time, it was at least a month, if not more.
They were like, we don't even know if this works. Like
they was giving us like maybe even 2. I want to say they even gave you 90 days, bro. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but it might have been like 90 days, something like that. That's what I felt like it was. And I would just go ahead, and once I was able to do that, I was like, okay, cool. I think I popped in the Guitar Center. Got me that blue Yeti mic, the USB mic. That was the first mic that I used.
Okay.
And from there, I was like, yo, yeah, this shit fire. And I would just try to record into that. Producing that, they had different things to use. And that was like my first my first digital audio workstation that I really actually used. And then from there, it just kind of expanded. So, yeah.
That's crazy. Look, for all y'all artists out there making excuses, you just heard of me went to the 99-cent store.
Yeah.
Bro had cassette tapes. He had to do one take singing. Like, bro, what?
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I think for
Never
me,
heard
it's
of
like
nothing like that.
You just can't make excuses. That's the biggest thing. It's easy to make excuses. It's easy to say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. But honestly speaking, it's like a lot of times people, even if you do have the access to what's considered to be the best quality, you don't even really know what you're doing at that point in time.
For
so
sure.
It's like you might as well learn right here and continually progress. I mean, that's just the journey that you kind of have to go through. So, I mean, for me, that's just kind of, something that I picked up on. So, yeah.
That's huge, though. That's like Will Smith says, brick by brick.
Brick by brick, for sure.
By brick.
It's always brick by brick. Like, you gotta put that time in, and like I said, brick by brick, piece by piece. You know what I'm saying? Rome wasn't built in a day, so, yeah.
So, moving forward, like, into your career, when did you make, because right now, we're in the Valley. I ain't going to say where, but we're in the Valley. When did you make that move from Inglewood?
So it's crazy. Growing up, like I said, Inglewood and stuff like that, I wasn't even really fond of the Valley until like I really started going to studios out here. You know what I'm saying? I started realizing that like most stuff that was happening or like where my time was being taken was always, you know what I'm saying, North Hollywood, Burbank, stuff like that, Woodland Hills. It was always out this way. And so I realized, okay, cool, this seems like that's where the movement is out here in LA. And not to say that it's not moving in other places, but like I said, I just felt like that's where I kept coming and stuff like that. So I always was here. And that's just kind of how it happened. I was like, okay, yeah, this is kind of where the hub is. This is where the stuff is going down. So that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah. And we're just going to touch on this for a second. Yeah. But because when I met you, I was trying to be an engineer.
Right.
So what made you want to go ahead and take the endeavor on building your own studio and having one?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me personally, it was just realizing that I really wanted to take this seriously. And I feel like it got to a point in time where I couldn't get as much done as I wanted to within the time frames of like being at a studio. And it wasn't because I wasn't working fast. It wasn't because I wasn't serious. It wasn't because I wasn't like efficient or nothing. It's just like I need more time. And then I started realizing, okay, cool. Well, at the end of the day, I'm kind of a hands-on type of person. So I needed to be able to be hands-on. And like I said, just coming from the background, I'm not really having much in general. I found myself going to studio sessions and, and I feel like a lot of artists go through it too. There's an engineer there and they're doing what they're doing. And it's not to say the engineer's not good. Some of them aren't. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of trash. But even if they're good, it's just like there's certain things that you want to do and it's just a little bit easier if you do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? And so it got to that point where it was like, man, I feel like I'm going to sessions and I'm doing a lot of it myself. And then I'm doing bigger blocks and bigger time chunks. It's like, yo, maybe I should just get my own thing because that's just something that I really want to, take seriously. And not to mention, I think it got to the point where it's like, you know what, this is something I really want to do. And I feel like when you look at a lot of the artists that are successful and just even artists in general, most of them like have their home studio or something that they really work out of or something that they created. So I just was really just following suit, to be honest with you. That's just kind of how it happened.
Okay. Yeah. And then last question about that. What's the hardest thing about running a business in LA, especially when it comes to a studio business since it's so up and down? And just, I mean, it's just a crazy business.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing, honestly, is just making sure that everybody has a quality experience. And that sometimes becomes tough because if you got a lot of foot traffic, you know what I'm saying, with anything, it could be any type of electronic, any type of gear, any type of equipment, things are going to break. You know what I'm saying? Things are going to go down and stuff like that. So I think the biggest thing, the hardest thing is just making sure that everything is always in tip-top shape. You know what I'm saying? Which really isn't even hard. It's just more about a maintenance thing. So I think that's the hardest thing. You mentioned in LA. Being in LA is a big city. You know what I'm saying? So there's obviously a lot of competition, but I feel like with anything, there's enough food for everybody to eat. You know what I'm saying? So even with competition, there's always going to be an opportunity for you to win still. So I mean, I think that's not really a big issue. It hasn't been for me, at least. I just think that it's more about just staying true to whatever your vision is for your business, because you can look at fast food. There's a lot of places that sell burgers. You can look at pizza. There's a lot of people that sell pizza. You can look at taco trucks. There's a lot of people that sell tacos and burritos and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, most of them still stay afloat. So they obviously finding their market. You know what I'm saying? They obviously finding their customer base. So it obviously works out for them. So yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. So for all y'all trying to start a business and trying to start your own studio, listen to what he said. Competition don't matter. There's enough food for everybody to eat. That's a gem. That's a gem.
Everybody can eat.
Don't compete with me. Eat with me.
Yeah. Hey, facts. I like that one. Yeah.
Okay, so we got to talk about, bro. You just had a show.
You did. Yeah.
At the Peppermint Club.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us about that. How did that go about? Because I mean, obviously COVID and everything happened. Yeah. You've been dropping music. Yeah. So this is like the first time in a while you popped out on stage.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. It had been a minute. COVID shut down so much stuff. It slowed down, shows. It slowed down the ability to really interact with fans, just interact with people in general. You know what I'm saying? Obviously a serious time. A lot of people struggled with it financially, emotionally. People lost loved ones and stuff like that. So people got sick, so I definitely want to be, cautious of that. But from a creative aspect, it gets hard when you can't really interact with who you want to interact with. But yeah, like I said, it was we just did a show at the Peppermint Club. Great crowd, great turnout, great time, great experience. And I mean, that's just what I love to do as an artist. That's just, you get in the studio, you knock your records out, you get your songs going, but it's nothing like really performing those songs live and getting that interaction, that fan love. Definitely got more shows on the way, coming up. Like I said, now that COVID has kind of really died down, got a project coming out in June. So once that comes out, I definitely want to, you know, be able to perform those songs for the people. So yeah.
But I'll go into it like this. As an R&B artist,
Right.
how was it going up onto the stage? Like you said, obviously it was a great experience.
Right.
But in the mix of, you know, everybody's a rapper nowadays. So obviously people are probably going to be expecting, when it comes to hip hop shows, rappers. Yeah. So how was that for you? Did you feel any type of like people thrown off? Obviously it could be in a good way, but how was it as an R&B artist popping out when I'm sure there was 4 or 5 rappers that night?
I mean, to be honest with you, bro, it's like, I feel like for a lot of people it's a breath of fresh air. I feel like nowadays a lot of rappers is trying to sing, a lot of singers be trying to rap. And I feel like it's kind of like a mixed blend, you know, between the genres. You know what I'm saying? Even when we look at hip hop, you know what I'm saying, a lot of most songs now they got an actual melodic hook. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the whole song is melodic.
Exactly. So, you know, where does that come from? You know what I'm saying? That's singing to an extent. You know
For
what
sure.
I'm saying? So for me, that's never really been no issue. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I just come from the background of you know, liking rap and understanding rap, and just that was my first thing. Singing was like second, third, fourth, fifth on my. That wasn't nothing I was.
It just happened.
That kind of happened. You know what I'm saying? For me, it was always rap first. You know what I'm saying? I was always just, even what I listened to, even now, like it's rare that I listen to like a ton of like R&B artists myself. You know what I'm saying? You get in my car, you wouldn't even think that I sing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really listening to a lot of that. I'm gonna listen to rappers. You know what I'm saying? I still, my go-to genre and shit, and hip hop in general is still one of the most popular genres. Really, the most popular.
It's the number one.
Exactly, and everybody is taking bits and pieces from that. So for me, it's never been no issue in that regard.
So following that, since it's been a big debate on social media, on different podcast platforms, on, I mean, I'd even seen some artists be put in the hot seat radio interviews.
Okay. This feel like the hot seat question. Go ahead.
You are on the hot seat. Matter of fact, you on the hot seat.
This feel like the hot seat question, but go ahead.
I'm going to just do it like this. Is R&B dead?
Nah, that's funny. That's a good question. R&B is not dead. I feel like they try to say that. They try to push that agenda. But I just feel like that comes from people that aren't ready to accept change, right? I feel like there was a conversation 10, 15 years ago that hip-hop is dead. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z's kind of leaving. He's retired. He's kind of taking the backseat. He's doing more of his business thing. Wayne is coming up. Wayne's like, nah, hip-hop ain't dead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got this. Then he kind of get the cosign from Jay. Jay's like, okay, yeah, nah, he do got this. You know what I'm saying? He always talking about the mixtape Weezy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got it. He know what he doing.
There's your dedication.
Yeah, all the dedications, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Sorry for the wait.
The no ceilings. I mean, just even the fact that Wayne was just hopping on songs, and everybody knew when you heard that lighter go off, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that was your song,
being 12.
Exactly. Like, all of a sudden you hear that flicker go off on your track, you like, damn, I gotta really sit back and see if I did my shit justice or did he just kill me off? You know what I'm saying? On my own record. So
that's why everybody picked up a lighter.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna put that on rap music though.
Yeah, but it's just like one of those things where it's like that was a debate at a certain point in time. They don't talk about that now. So I mean, I feel like when people feel change, that's what they're gonna say initially.
Yeah.
But if it is evolving, it's evolving in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? Because you still got artists that are going on tour. You still got artists that are streaming. You got artists that are still selling. If it was really dead, the whole genre would die. No artist would be able to eat in that form, in my opinion. So I feel like if artists are still able to put out music, they're still able to go on tour, they still able to put out shows, they still got fans listening to their music, there's a space for that. So I definitely would say it's dead. It's just evolving, you know.
And I also feel like when it comes to social media, like, obviously a lot of dumb stuff is promoted.
For sure. Always.
Like, you're not going to see too many R&B artists partaking in the same activities that you would see some of the like gangster rappers or whatever partaking in. So I feel like that as well makes people feel like R&B is dead. And it's like, no, they're just not doing shootouts at concerts.
Yeah. I mean, I think
they're
it's
singing
also
about love.
Exactly. Yeah. I think even then, I feel like. But here's the thing, though. To even fight on that,
there's shootouts at R&B concerts.
This
That's
is
what
true.
you're saying.
This is true, and I also feel like for the people that are really into R&B, because all the songs are not lovey-dovey, now it's dead. Is it really dead? It's just a different subject matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like everything is not serenading and stuff like that. So all of a sudden, it's dead. I mean, it's dead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just different.
We just talk about things differently.
Exactly.
It's a different generation.
Exactly. So it's like, yo, it's evolving, it's changing. You're not really ready to accept that. So it's kind of catching you off guard a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I see it. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I look at it.
And mentioning your tape,
yeah,
you're gonna wake up R&B for all them people that think it's dead.
You know what? I wouldn't even put that on my shoulders. I feel like, honestly, there's so many dope artists that honestly people aren't even taking the time to really go out and find. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the market is actually so heavily saturated with great music, but a lot of people aren't taking the time to go find it or even listen to it or give it a chance because it's not what they're used to.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure. So, every song sounds the same.
Exactly. So if it feels different at first, you naturally shy away. It's uncomfortable territory. But then if you go back and look at it again, you be like, oh, you know what? I do like this. Or I do fuck with that. Or, oh, you know what? What was that song? That's track number 4 on what album? Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? But it takes people a lot of time to warm up to anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing happens overnight. You give people something new. They always gonna try to figure out what's wrong with it, what was wrong with the old, why they even need it, what's the purpose of it, stuff like that. So it's a lot of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Kobe and MJ,
all of that. Things. It's all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, what do you think about some of the rappers? I mean, a lot of rappers are also putting their arm around R&B singers like Mozzie and Blast.
Man, I think that's dope. I mean, I feel like that's something that has to happen. You have to connect like that. You have to you have to, if you think about it, R&B and hip hop have always been kind of like this, right? You can look at Ja Rule and Ashanti. Great records.
Facts.
Great records. You got somebody rapping, deep raspy voice, Ja Rule. You got Ashanti on the hooks. If you look at stuff that Puff was putting together, Puff was sampling so many great records for Big, but it's like, yo, they were singing on those records. You know what I'm saying? You look at somebody like Nelly. I don't care what nobody say. Nelly was singing, bro. Nelly was singing.
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? Nelly was singing on them records, and that's what made it great. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have that, you know, yin and yang. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of what really makes it something special. And at a certain point in time, you're like, oh, this is a good blend. This is a solid blend. And so, like I said, I feel like Blast, Mozzie, they got a lot of hot records together, but that's no new recipe. You know what I'm saying? It's always been fire ass rapper, get somebody on your hook, and you just, you know, put it out to the people, and they typically usually like it. You know what I'm saying? That's always been a thing.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of another artist these days. People been hating on the R&B singers.
They do. I think what it is. I think
I can't think of one more out here. Like, there's R&B singers obviously that went on their own, like Bryson Tiller and stuff. I don't think there's one rapper out here
that did what?
You're on the hot seat again. I don't think there's one rapper other than Mozzie and Blast.
On a one-two
Blast, no disrespect to Blast, but I mean he wasn't known.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think that you put Blast on the hook now, it's gonna be a hit. You know
yeah.
That's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. You know, so yeah.
So moving forward, when you do drop the tape, where can they get it?
It's gonna be on all streaming platforms. You find everything. Kavin Donnell, Apple Music, Spotify, whatever, YouTube, Tidal. You know, anywhere that you listen to your music, Amazon, wherever you consume your music, I guarantee it'll be there.
And I'm gonna speak it into existence. You're gonna hear it in the club.
All of that.
When you dancing.
All of that.
You're gonna hear it on TikTok.
Yes, sir.
There's gonna be some trending sounds by Kavin Donnell.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate that.
Of course. So before we get out of here, since you are a little further along in your artistry than most people who will be watching this, and just most people in general, I mean, you're an LA artist who just performed at one of the most legendary clubs out here, owned your own studio, done everything from the ground up by yourself. What is one piece of advice that you could give to somebody who is watching this and saying, hey, I want to do music, but I have no idea where to start?
That's a good question. I feel like, honestly, my biggest piece of advice is to just start. You just got to start. At the end of the day, what you do today is not going to be as good as what you're going to do tomorrow, because you're going to improve. And what you do tomorrow won't be as good as what you're going to do the day after that. Like, you should always want to get better. You should always want to improve. So with that being said, you'll never know or never see that until you start.
Yeah.
You have to start. That's what you have to do. You have to move forward. You have to give yourself that opportunity. And a lot of times we tell ourselves we can't start, or we can't do this, that, or the third, because we don't have, you know, the favorable circumstance that we want. We don't have a perfect circumstance. But at the end of the day, what is a perfect circumstance? You see what I'm saying? So I feel like we have to look at ourselves and say, you know what? There is no such thing as a perfect circumstance. And because of that, don't let that hinder you from actually putting forth your efforts towards your goal. Because if you do, you're not going to get nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So my biggest advice is start. That's what I did. And as you start, you keep building brick by brick, piece by piece, and you just keep, you know, striving for what you're going for every day. And, you know, after a while, once you look up, you'll be like, you know what? I've made progress. Yeah. And it wasn't about where I started. It's about where I was trying to go. You know what I'm saying? It never matters where you start. Everybody starts at different places. You know, some people have this circumstance going on that helps them. Some people have this circumstance that's going on that, you know, kind of disfavors them. But at the end of the day, you just have to make a decision that you're going to go for it. You're going to start. And after that, you know, the rest is kind of history, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. I definitely agree. I mean, the perfect situation for you was a 99-cent store right down the street.
Exactly. Getting a cassette tape. Yeah, that's where I started. I didn't really know much at that time. You know, nobody could tell me no. That's what I could get my hands on. So
you started with the 5 cassettes. Yeah. Mom, I need to go back. I ain't got no more. Exactly. And she like, you better find some quarters.
Yeah, you got to go do that. And just every time, and then get the marker right. This is, you know, whatever. This songs is on this.
I don't know nothing about that. He said, right, get the marker.
You got to.
Right now, you're gonna be on your. They're gonna be on their iPhone. Like, where the fuck? Where the marker's supposed to go?
Yeah, exactly.
On the CDs, though.
Exactly. Yeah.
You ever burn CDs?
Yeah, burn the CDs too. I did the cassettes and burnt the CDs. I mean,
you went through all the stages.
All of the stages. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the journey. But yeah, I done hit all the stages, bro. Like, even this whole digital era is still like halfway borderline new to me. Because there were so many other things we did. Cassettes, you burn your CDs. I mean, I didn't burn the CDs up and I never really tried to sell them. You know what I'm saying? You know, people be outside trying to say this. But I would give them out. People
still do that. Can you believe that? Outside of Target.
It's sick. They got to get with the times. If you're trying to sell your CDs now, just to anybody, if you're trying to hand out your CDs now, you got to get with other times. Just differently. Definitely a better way for you to go about that. If you're outdated, you just don't do that. You gotta understand, cause you know, computers and certain cars don't even come with CD players no more.
I know it, bro.
What are you doing? Like, you shooting yourself in the foot. You created a product that nobody can use now.
I just felt bad for him out there, bro.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Holla at that man or woman, whoever it is. Don't go burn no CDs, bro.
Don't go burn no CDs.
Don't burn no CDs.
Final piece of advice: don't burn no CDs.
That's it. We can end on that. No, don't burn no CDs.
So go check Kavin Donnell out at Kavin Donnell on Instagram.
Yep.
TikTok,
Twitter, everything at Kavin Donnell.
Everything. Original R&B singer. Everything is just his name. Make sure Apple Music, Spotify, go stream his new single coming out next week. I don't know if we talked about it, but the name is Equals. Go check it out. It's gonna be out next week. Equals, produced by
Khalillionaire.
Shout out to him. Gonna go crazy. And make sure you get that tape in the summertime. If you're in Miami, you're gonna hear it in the club. So maybe you ain't gotta get it. You're gonna get it on your own anyway. You know what I'm saying? YOTTATALK.
All of that.
YOTTATALK. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got another great episode. I got so much respect for this man. Somebody who's come from doing 99-cent cassette mixtapes to owning a whole studio, performing at the Peppermint Club, and doing that all on his own 2 feet. Really investing and putting the time in, putting the work in that a lot of other people won't. And that's why he's in a situation that a lot of people aren't. So make sure you guys pick up on all the gems that he gave. Give a subscribe, give a follow on all of our social medias. YOTTATALK, just like the original R&B singers. We the same thing, just a straight name. YOTTATALK. All right, man. Later, we gonna catch y'all next week. Kavin Donnell, go check him out.
Please don't be weird. Please don't be weird. Shawty good here. That she could have here. Please don't be weird. Please don't be weird.